Order in the house.
Oh, we're outside.
We're outside. Yeah. We're gonna keep it outside. I was going to bring everyone in, but everyone's looking pretty comfortable, so I think we'll just hang about out here, say a few words, and then we'll sort of have some lunch and enjoy some drinks. Thanks everybody for coming along. It's really great to sort of see you all. Some old faces, some new faces, some very old faces. Some old new faces and some new old faces. We obviously sort of know why we're here today to say a final farewell to the old man, William Farrer Stansfield, 4th of February 1940. There's too many twos and fours. So yeah, 4th of the 2nd, 1940, through to the 11th of May, 2025. One of the things that Dad said to me sort of in the final couple of weeks was, don't make a fuss, Mike. Just have me cremated, and at some stage head up to the northwest and spread my ashes around up there somewhere, if possible, out of the window of an aeroplane. So
don't make it fuss.
Yeah, don't make it fuss. Yeah. I just joked with Dan and I said, okay, yeah, all right, one final flight then, hey? And he said, yeah, that'd be good. One of the loves that Dad had obviously was flying. A lot of us know that. And going through some of his old records, I actually found, and David and I and Leila went through those records the day Dad passed away, and we come across his logbooks from flying days and found some entries that showed that he had his student pilot's license at the age of 20.
Wow.
And then his full pilot's license, not for 747s of course, but his full pilot's license for Cessnas at the age of 21. Dad had some fanciful stories about his time in the Air Force, but I think it was at times the ramblings of an old man who was mixing up dreams with reality, but that's okay because I think we can all do that sometimes. But when I looked through Dad's life and I realised some of the things that he's actually accomplished and done, he was a bloody smart man. He had a really high intellect, sometimes perhaps to his own demise, but he knew how to get shit done, and even whilst he was sort of in the aged care home, he was very good with his numbers. He knew exactly where every single cent went. He knew where every single cent went, and he sometimes challenged the centre on their calculations of how much they were taking out. And he knew dollar for dollar and cent for cent his pharmaceutical costs, and he compared them to different pharmacies, and it was quite fascinating actually to sit at times and do mental arithmetic with him, and 9 times out of 10 he had me, and it was fantastic. That his mind was so incredibly sharp, almost right to the end. His body definitely let him down, but that was obviously due to some lifestyle choices. But he said to me that he'd lived a really full life, that he'd done a lot of things that many others would never have the opportunity to do. He lived in a few different continents. He lived the life of Riley at times. Those of us, and I think I can say this with some honesty, we know at times that he left a bit of a trail of debris behind him, but ultimately in the final stages of his life, he did find love and care again, and Shirley will be here later this afternoon at around 2 o'clock. She's a lovely 94-year-old lady who, called Dad a toy boy. She couldn't see the bingo cards very well. So
I think 97.
97. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 97.
Yeah. So when Dad moved into the home, he made some friends with Shirley, and there was another lady, Annie, a Scottish lady who was 105, I think, when she passed away. So neither of them could see all that well. That's probably why they loved Dad so much. But he'd sit there and he'd play bingo, but he'd play 3 cards at once because he was helping with their cards as well as his.
That's how he was
stacking the odds.
Stacking the odds.
Did they win?
But
He won a lot though.
But it sort of showed me like how sharp Dad's mind was, like even in those sort of late years, was to be playing several bingo cards at the same time. It's not an easy feat.
Actually, people over too at other tables too.
At other tables, yeah. Look, Dad, we all know, he was estranged from family for some time. Dad and I haven't spoken for probably about 12 years when he came back to Perth in January 2020, 5 years ago, just before COVID. And I'm ever so grateful that he actually managed to get back to Perth before COVID, because the way that, I don't think he would have coped too well being on his own in Sydney. So I'm glad he made it back, and Arnie Vi reached out to me and said, hey, your dad's coming back to Perth. Do you think you might sort of want to reach out? And I thought, you know what, he's my old man, I haven't spoken to him for a while, I'd love to see him again. And over the last 5 years, we've become we became really good mates. I won't say we had a traditional father-son relationship, but we became best of mates, and we shared life stories. He became part of our life. He loved Lee Little Bits, and he was glad that I'd finally got it right as well. He was very genuine and kind. Those that met him over the last 5 years perhaps got the best of Dad as he'd gone through life and he'd lived a life, and he then finally got to the final stages and worked out what life and love was all about. He made a lot of friends, and they thought very fondly of him. My fear for Dad when we were estranged was that he was going to grow old and die a very lonely old man. And I'm very glad that didn't happen, because in the final days, and I'm going to try and keep this together, because there's a brother from Melville congregation who isn't here today, because at the age of 45, his life was cut short 3 days before Dad died in a motorcycle accident. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young boys. But Carl loved Dad, and Dad was very, very fond of Carl, and his eyes lit up every time I said Carl was going to come and see him. And Carl was instrumental and pivotal in helping our family get back together. And reunite. And I'm so glad that my mum, old Annie, is here, and my sis and my big bro Dave. We can all see each other freely, and be here to celebrate Dad's life, because he was a pretty cool cat, and he did love life, and he loved hard, and he always thought the best of people. And I think Dad lived life through rose-coloured glasses sometimes, but in the final days, the silver lining for myself, and I think a few of us, is that he's brought a lot of people back together, and I will be forever grateful to him for that. So cheers, Dad.
Cheers, Dave. Cheers, Bill.
Cheers. Cheers.
To the old man, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks everyone. It's a few drinks.
Yeah.